death can save you from me.
Boys, welcome back to the channel. In the last few videos, we have gone on a journey searching for rare, elusive, unique items. The drops have been sick, with 2 Griffin's Eyes, a Death's Fathom, a D-Web, and even a Tyrael's Might. If you missed those, I'll drop a link in the description for you to check those out. Now, we turn to the other subset of super rare Diablo 2 drops, High Runes. Why? Because I still need 3 more Burr Runes to roll my 2 Infinities, 1 for my Merc, and 1 for my self-willed characters. As I'm sure many of you know, High Runes are incredibly difficult to find. Unlike hunting for uniques, Magic Find has no influence on High Rune drop rates. This begs the question, how do we increase our odds? The key is location. Outside of slaying thousands and thousands of mobs on high player counts efficiently, the classic farming locations are Lower Kurust and Travincal. While there are others, these are the 2 tried and tested for me. While I could go down the Lower Kurust route, I wanted to give the High Council and my Barbarian a chance to shine. As I'm sure you know, the Barbarian has the unique Find Item ability, which allows him to hawk a corpse for up to a 75% chance of a second drop. I'll hand over to Haley Welch to explain.
Oh, you gotta give him that and spit on that thing, you get me?
When you couple the Find Item skill with the increased rune drop chances of council members, you have some of the best odds in the game for dropping high runes. Just to note as well, the Travincal council members can drop up to Cham rune. So for the purposes of high runes, we are looking for Ohm, Lo, Sir, Burr, Jar, and Cham. Finally, there are 2 resources I want to shout out. This great classic video from Inner Alchemy Gaming, where he discusses the statistics associated with Travincal rune drops, and this amazing Travincal rune drop simulator and resource by D2 Rune Wizard. I'll leave a link to both in the description. If you're enjoying my content and the video so far, please remember to like and subscribe. According to YouTube, almost 97% of you are not subscribed, so smashing that button would mean a lot to me. With the admin out of the way, it's now time to start our journey. The first step was building my Whirlwind Barbarian. This was the build I initially wanted to run with. For the loadout I was going for, I had all the gear necessary except a second Grief, Gore Riders, and Trang's Belt. So I picked up my old friend, the Paladin, and got grinding. The Magic Finder and me can't resist a terrorized pit, so we bring the Hammerden in and start looking for our Gore Riders and our Trangs. We pick up a nice Lightning Skiller for the Sork to start with, followed up with a nice little small charm here. We pick up a +3 to Fast Run Walk and +10 to Cold Res. Taking out our little special pack here, we drop a pretty good item when it rolls well. That's of course T-Strokes. These ones are not bad. We get the +4 to Jav and Spear skills and 184 on the ED. Funnily enough, we haven't actually started our rune finding, but we take the Paladin through Trav. Have a look at this. We pick up a Gull rune off the bat. Pretty nice. Mephisto's terrorized, and just like a crack addict, I just can't help myself. The set Sacred Armor is giving me PTSD from our last video, but nonetheless, a pretty cool find. Another rare one here. We go ahead and kill Mephisto and pick up that unique Hydra Bow, which is of course Wind Force. Unfortunately, this one doesn't roll the best, and we get the +6 on the Mana Leech. Another absolute El Clasico. I don't think I can go a video without finding this one. That is of course everyone's favorite, the set Lacquered Plate, which is Tau's Armor. Go ahead and ID that one there. Pretty nice. Take note of the time on this one, lads. We had 2 minutes of terrorized meth left here, and lo and behold, boom, we do pick up our set Troll Belt. In classic Dead Set fashion, I slow rolled the hell out of that thing, but you can see that I'm pretty damn excited to get this Barbarian underway. We change our approach a little bit and start killing unterrorized Hell Endariel because she has the highest odds of dropping Gore Riders. And how cool is an F Biggins Bonnet? I mean, the probability I'm going to chuck up here is un-F, but if a mathematician in chat can let me know the odds of an F version, that would be great. Again, the runes keep coming even before we've started our Trav runs. We pick up a Gull rune from one of the random noobs here. We go ahead and take Andy out, we pick up the Gull rune, and how cool is that? We see a Frost Nova on death just to the left there, and curiosity gets the better of us. We check it out, and it ends up being an rune. Pretty nice. taking out Diablo and clearing Chaos, looking for some Phase Blade bases and those Gore Riders, and we do pick up a 7 MF, 8 to Poison Rare Small Charm, which is pretty nice. I got really sick of looking for Phase Blade bases in Chaos, so I went to Cows, looking for some good bases, looking for Grand Charms and all the good things you find there. We do pick up a nice GC here, which is a Skiller. It's a 1 to Bow and Crossbow, 21 to Gold Find. We end up interchanging with a bit of Chaos here, and we do pick up another GC, which is of course another Skiller. We pick up an ID, a +1 to LE skills for the Druid. We get ready to roll our Grief, and we cube up our Vexes into an Ohm, and then we cube up our Ohms into a Low. After a billion misses, we finally roll our 5 open socket Phase Blade, and jam our runes into the Phase Blade to roll our Grief. Boys, you know that saying mid? Well, welcome to Midtown. 39 on the IAS and 368 on the flat damage. Nonetheless, now armed with 2 Griefs, I finally felt like Mo when he refers to someone with 2 knives.
Geez, Homer, I thought someone with 2 wives would be happy.
No, you're thinking of someone with 2 knives.
I gotta tell you, this is pretty terrific.
Now boys, how's this? I haven't even found Gore Riders, and I'm dropping a low rune from Andy. Even after 20 plus years of playing this game, it never ceases to surprise me. How cool is that? Andy still coming in hot with the drops. She's terrorized at this point and drops us a Rainbow Facet, which rolls 5/4 lightning. Still on the rune train, we get a mid rune here, which is always nice to have. That is of course the Ist rune. Now, I just really want to make the point, I still haven't found Gore Riders, right? And this is over the course of like days. It's not like one session. Have a look at this. Stone of Jordan. How unreal is that?
A few moments later.
Lads, I should probably buy a lottery ticket after this one. Like, make it make sense. How does this game work? I just want a pair of Gore Riders and I found 2 Andy SOJs. How cool is that? It turns out the Gore Riders are not that far away. We continue the grind, pick them up, average as hell, but damn these things eluded me for so long. Now, with the Stone of Jordans dropping over the last few videos like absolute rain, I thought I'd go ahead and get myself another Annihilus charm because currently I've only got 1 on this account and it's mid as hell. Now, because I'm a smooth brain homunculus glue eater, I forgot to actually bring my CTA with me or use a class that actually does damage to Uber Diablo. So I run in there with my unbattle-ordered Hammerden trying to take this guy out for literally 50 minutes. Eventually we get the job done and ID the Annie.
I don't get nervous, but I'm starting to get a bit shaky, you know what I mean? I'm a little bit weak.
Let's give this puppy a 4 out of 10, lads. Now, with everything done, I actually did a backflip and ended up building a Berserk Barbarian. The reason why is simple. I just didn't like the way the Whirlwind Barbarian played. The Berserk Barbarian is tried and tested for me, so I respec back in. Now, I have to apologise, I didn't actually get any footage of my Whirlwind Barbarian, so for those who haven't actually seen it play, I found some stock footage just to give you a bit of an understanding of how it runs. So get ready for a quick rundown of the gear. Grief, Ariad's Face, High Lords, Storm Shield for its defensive capability, Enigma, Laying of Hands, Dwarf Stuff for the Fire Absorb, of course the Trangs, an FCR ring we found in our last video, a good pair of War Travs, and then some max damage, Resistance Charms, and Magic Find Charms. Of course, we're also running our Hellfire Torch, Annie, and Geeds. On the Switch, we have our Wisp Spikes, which are socketed with Ists. This was my gear at the end of the runs, and I swapped the War Travs in for the Gores because of the flat damage. And pretty simple on the stats, we've got enough strength to wear our gear, enough dex for gear, max rares, about 200% magic find, and on Switch, a little bit more, but of course we do meet the 105% breakpoint for the FCR. Very standard skill tree. I put my excess points into battle orders, I max out find potion, about max find item to 75%, max blade mastery, and put your one hit wonders in there, and then of course you go down and max berserk. On my shouts, I'm meeting the 75% find item with no cold damage on this build so I don't shatter corpses. I found the best Merc loadout was Akira's and Guardian Angel combo to max his res. Of course, we can't run a Reaper's Toll because of the cold damage, so we've given him a Bone Hue. Eth would be great, but we haven't found one yet. Now, what I found when I started these runs is you're going to hear, I am overburdened, I can't carry anymore, way too many times until you go absolutely insane.
I can't carry anymore. I am overburdened.
Oh, mate, don't say that,
I am overburdened.
because that irritates me,
I am
and I punch
overburdened.
blokes in the mouth
I can't
for
carry
saying that.
anymore.
And we kick the runs off strong. On run 57, we pick up a rare pair of Crusader gauntlets, which actually turn out to be a pretty decent pair of 220s. Not bad. Now, I don't know what it is with the Druid skillers. Maybe someone's trying to tell me to play Druid, but here we go, another LE skiller. Now, if you hadn't already picked it up, on this occasion, I've actually adopted the services of a run counter because I physically can't do it myself. But let me tell you, this thing is way more equipped than me to crunch the numbers.
You're completely sure of the math. Look at him. That's my quant.
Your what?
My quantitative. My math specialist. Look at him. You notice anything different about him? Look at his face.
The Big Short, what a movie. In any case, we get a bit of a double drop here, a unique amulet, which is a Nokkazan, and we pick up the awesome Gavel of Pain. A nice rainbow facet on run 143, along with a rare amulet that is absolute trash, but there's the facet for 3 lightning. Now, this looks cool, but I think it looks cooler than it actually is because the lifesteal wouldn't apply to traps as I understand, but if this is any decent, somebody can let me know. Kicking things off with our first unique ring of the runs, we also get a rare circlet, which is garbage, but the ring is a Ravenfrost. Here we go, picking up another unique amulet, which on this occasion is the Rising Sun. I also started picking up a ridiculous amount of gold from the council members, so much so that we were just wasting gold and gold and gold.
Look at all this fucking... Who's putting all this in the bin? How many portions are you putting in there? How much is in the bin? Look! Look! What the fuck is this?
So we went to a place I know all too well, the Cass. We start gambling circlets, and I'm going to highlight some of the best over the course of these runs. And here we go, we pick up a +2 to cold skills, 20 FCR, some res, and some damage reduction. Also, not the best rolls, but we actually pick up a pretty rare tri-res pair of boots. Lightning res, fire res, poison res, and we also get the half freeze duration. The cat's out of the bag here, boys. We pick up a cat's eye. On run 320, we do pick up that unique totemic mask, which, as we all know, is Jalal's main. Pretty sick. Moving swiftly on, we do pick up that unique pair of bone weave boots, which are, of course, Marrowwalk. Another rare one, given we're out here in hell, but we do find a pair of Hotspurs.
Top spur? No. What's that?
Another real classico out here in Trav, we do pick up a unique Thresher, which is, of course, the Reaper's Toll. We pick up a little Lemrune on run 365. And shortly after, on 377, we pick up another facet, which is a 4/4 cold. One you don't necessarily see every day. On run 382, we pick up a Stone Raven. And then a poorly rolled Runemaster with 3 open sockets. Another pretty cool GC we pick up on 385, which is bow and crossbows with some life. And an alternative to our Mercs Kira's, which is the Steel Shade, just because of that fire absorb. Another one we can't seem to go a video with without finding is the unique Battle Setsus, which is that Shadow Killer, followed by a super rare wand on 409. So we finally break the high rune drought on run 427. I'm going to let this one play, and as always, I will see you on the other side. There it is, boys. Blink and you'll miss it. We hawk a beautiful Ohm rune off one of those council members.
Yeah, boy.
It's pretty damn far off a burr, but pretty cool nonetheless. And as they say, nothing happens and then everything happens at once. 5 runs later, the statistically impossible happens. Enjoy, lads.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah! Yes! Yes!
And there you have it. Things escalate very quickly with 2 Ohm runes in 5 runs.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Moving on, we pick up one of the Kiras we find throughout these runs with a terrible all-res roll. We then pick up a GC and head to DC for the ID and pick up a +1 to masteries. Bit of an interesting one here. This council member tries to evade death by running back to Act 1.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
And then on run 476, we pick up a unique ring, and of course, a shout out to Sir Fox Gaming. We pick up the Fury Visor. The ring is a 24 Nagel, and the Fury Visor is, of course, Wolfhair. Another Diablo 2 classic is the unique Wire Fleece, which is, of course, Gladbane. And then we head back to the cast to, of course, chase our losses. And tell me how good this would have been if this rolled 2 to summoning skills. We've got the run walk, we've got the cast rate, some lifesteal, and some all-res.
That's a shame.
A string of OK drops from this point on. We pick up that unique Hyperion Spear, which is, of course, Ariok's Needle. We then roll the only unique Scourge possible here, which is Horizons. Then identify that classic unique Flying Axe, which is Gimmershred. We then find one of the classic Diablo 2 belts, which is, of course, the String of Ears. This one's a decent roll, but pretty low on the lifesteal in the ED. We then find the alternative to a 6-isted Phase Blade offhand, which is the Blade of Alibaba. Another mid-tier unique, we pick up Lycander's Flank for the Javazon, and a pretty useless Crescent Moon.
I'm the mode.
The string of bad facets continue with a 4-3 Poison, and another unique ring on run 614, which is a Dwarf Star. Alright boys, this is a big one. It hasn't been that long since our double Ohm drop, and we do pick up another high rune on run 623. Get your high rune guesses down in the comments, and I will see you guys on the other side. How wild is that, lads? We hawk a Cham, which is pretty sick. Unfortunately, it gets us no closer to that Burr rune, but it is such a cool find nonetheless. A few runs later, on run 630, we pick up the classic pair of Mage Fists. We then get everyone's favorite unique amulet, which is Mara's Kaleidoscope, which rolls 24 on the all-res. A nice little all-round mid-rune for those magic finders like myself. We pick up an Ist rune from one of the council members. We then hop on the Druid train, starting with a Cerebrus Bite. Heading on over to the unique Earth Spirit, which is, of course, Spirit Keeper. And a nice little rare Druid Amulet, which rolls +2 to summoning skills, 10 FCR, life, and some poison res. Call me the king of bad facets. We then pick up a 3-5 light. And of course, the classic unique bone knife, which is of course the Wizard Spike. Another one I guess you don't see every day, that is of course the unique battle belt, which is Snow Clash. Again, you're probably just going to be using arachnids on a Blizzard Sork anyway. Shortly after, while Trav is terrorized, we pick up a 175 Poison Small Charm. And then we pick up this really cool magic circlet. Again, I don't know the value of these things. We'd have to ask Cooley, but if someone down in chat could let me know, +3 to parley combat, and 30 faster run walk. On this occasion, it's an average rare one for a druid. We go ahead and cycle through the gambles here and find that 220 druid. Back in Trav, we pick up a classic but non-F pair of Titans. On run 923, we get a bit of a double here. We pick up that GC and we also get a facet. The skiller is absolute trash with a +1 to defensive, and the facet is a 4/4 cold. Again, the king of bad facets retains his title with another 4/4 cold. How's this? Another skiller, another piece of trash. We go ahead and pick up the unique petrified wand and the GC. +1 to curses, which has just made me feel a little bit sick. And there's our Karen Shard. Another run, another mid-rune. On run 944, we go ahead and hawk that rune, which is pretty nice. And then a couple of runs later, we pick up the classic unique Viper Magi with 34 to all res. And here we are with our last few sets of gambles. We actually pick up a really nice Paladin Circlet on this occasion. There we are with +2 to Paladin skills, 20 FCR, some max damage, attack rating, and life. Alright guys, you'll see up the top there, my fastest time was 5 seconds. Obviously that's not the case, as there were a few occasions where I spawned in and then saved and exited because I'm an idiot. So to accommodate, I did an additional 11 runs, giving us our grand total of 1011 runs. And in those runs, we found 2 Ohm runes, a Cham, and all those sick circlets. While we didn't pick up the 3 Burr runes we were looking for, I still consider this a job well done. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
You know what? I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
I'm not fucking leaving! The show goes on! Oh my god! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm! Stay calm!
Lads, if you think Mum raised a quitter, you are mistaken. We kick off our second 1000 runs with a terrorized Trav and a set Griswold's Corona.
Hallelujah! Holy shit!
And then, of course, another unique amulet and another Mara's. On this occasion, unfortunately, only rolling +21 to the all res. We then pick up a unique ring on run 83, which is a nature's piece. And then I try to work out what the hell I'm doing with all this loot. We end up picking up that GC and the small charm. It turns out though that small charm is actually pretty nice. +5% FHR, 2 to max damage, and 20 to attack rating. Back at the casino gambling circlets, what do we pick up here? It's actually a really nice rare martial arts circlet for the assassin. It rolls with +2 to martial arts skills, 20 FCR, attack rating, mana leech, dex, and fire res. We found a bunch of these over the course of the runs for our Barbarian, and this is probably the pick of the bunch. We find a GC here and a ring, which is trash, but the GC is 5 to max damage, 40 to attack rating, and 28 to life. We then pick up a bunch of charms, a grand charm, a small charm, and another grand charm, and we end up heading back home for DC to give us the ID. We do pick up a +1 to summoning skills, +10 gold fine for the druid. Who would have guessed it? Another unique amulet and another bad Mara's Kaleidoscope. Still looking for that perfect +30 to all res roll, but unfortunately on this occasion we pick up a +22. On run 250 of the second 1000, we pick up that classic unique Storm Shield. And then 100 runs later, we pick up this pretty cool rare amulet for the Barbarian, +2 to Walkerize, 10 FCR, and some res. Not a bad one here. We find an F Crown of Thieves that actually rolls really, really well on the gold find and the ED, but not so good on the lifesteal. Now boys, I know a 220 is not optimal on a Sork, but can someone let me know how much this is worth?
Damn, boy, he's thick! Boy, that's a thick-ass boy! Damn!
I mean, come on, I know it's only got 5 mods, but 220, 30 to strength, and 15 to all res. And what about this puppy here? We find a 220 for the elemental druid with some min damage, life, and mana. And a pretty cool one here, which I didn't actually know could drop in Unterrorized Trav, but that is Arcane's Valor. And lads, another couple of rings, but how about on this occasion we find the rarest ring in the game? Boom, there it is, Wisp Projector. How cool is that? And who could forget the other unique ring, which we ID as a Ravenfrost. Halfway through our runs now, at run 531, we do pick up another Skiller, which is a +1 to martial arts. And we go back to back with Skillers. Unfortunately, this occasion is trash. Did I say back to back? I mean, oh baby, a triple. How about another Skiller, but on this occasion, a +1 to Pally Combat. And I promise, the last Mara of the session, we do pick up a 25 all-res Mara's Kaleidoscope. Warning, headphone users, we pick up our first perfect facet. How good is that? A 5/5 lightning. Moving on to run 638, we're now well into our second 1000. That nice Istrun there drops, but we go ahead and hawk the rest of the corpses before we pick it up and pop it in the stash. On Diablo's number 666, we pick up the Blade Barrier, which for some reason makes me think of Beyblades. So lads, at this point, our last high rune was over 1,000 runs ago. That was our Cham rune. Unfortunately, we've had a really dry spell. The game's just giving me enough to keep me alive, and we do get that Constellation Istrun, but not the high rune we're looking for. Back at the cast, gambling away the house, the car, the kids, we pick up a pretty nice Paladin Circlet here. No cast rate, but I assume this would be pretty good for a physical or melee Paladin. Maybe someone can let me know. We go ahead and hawk the rest of these corpses here and pick up a unique Phase Blade. We know what it is, given it cannot be Azurath. The lightsaber always makes me reminisce about my favourite scenes in the movies, particularly the sequels.
Done.
Now guys, I can't tell you how bloody frustrating it is when one of these Trav members gets in front of the staircase. The King of Bad Facets returns, and we go ahead and ID a 3/5 poison. And then on run 816, find this pretty cool rare amulet. It rolls +2 to Amazon skill levels, 10 FCR, some energy, res, and half freeze duration. Just something cool I thought I'd highlight. We go ahead and gamble another 8 circlets and actually pick up a unique Kira's. Terrible all-res roll, but pretty cool nonetheless. So lads, I've got to be honest with you, at this point I am absolutely gassed. I've done 911 runs of the new set, and I haven't found a high rune since about 650 of the previous 1000. I am in the shitter pretty damn hard on these runs, lads. And bear in mind, each run takes about 1 minute. I'll leave it to you lads to do the math on how long 1000 takes. In any case, we break our drought with a big one here, so I will see you legends on the other side.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
Thank God, a low rune. I mean, we're not any close to that Bur rune, but geez, at least it's something for all my running. Things do pick up after that low rune, and we do finish strong with a nice hot streak. We do pick up that Grand Charm there, lads, and it is a Skiller. It is a +1 to War Cries and 39 to life. Pretty sick. This rare amulet's pretty cool, I guess. It rolls +2 to Pally Combat, 10 FCR, some poison rares, and some dex. Don't worry, the string of bad facets continues until the end. We pick up a 4/3 fire. The obsession with Sork circlets continues, and towards the end here, we pick up another 220 for the Sork with some mana steal and some mana. A pretty cool double drop here. We managed to pick up a mid rune, which is another gull rune, and we also pick up that unique Slayer Guard, which is of course Ariat's face. We go ahead and put the gull rune in the stash, and then we go ahead and give the Slayer Guard an ID. Unfortunately, it rolls pretty bad on the lifesteal and the ED. And if you thought the bad facets were over, you are gravely mistaken. We go ahead and pick another one up here and try to ID it about 50 times and end up picking up a 4/4 poison. Look, I wouldn't classify it as a high rune, but in any case, it's pretty decent to find. Don't know if you saw it there, it was a flicker of a Vex rune. We go ahead and pop this one in the stash. And on our very last set of gambles, we do find a pretty bad 220 for the Sork. And again, my heart breaks in half just at the end here. I mean, if this thing rolled with some faster run, walk, or cast rate, oh my god.
That's a shame.
So we crawl our way to the finish line with 2025 runs for the year 2025. With each Travincal run having 11 council members, that gives us our total of 22,000 plus horked Travincal corpses. I just can't do any more runs, lads, so we're going to close off the horking with that. So lads, they say fortune favours the bold. Well, what do I have to show for my 2025 runs? 3 Is runes, a gull and a Vex, 2 ohms, a low and a cham. Not bad, but we're nowhere near the 3 burrs we set out for. If I'm honest, I expected more. Compiling all the runes from our last 3 videos, I believe I can cube everything below burr up to an additional burr and a low. This means I'm still a burr and 3/4 away from 2 infinities. So, what are my closing remarks? Well, first of all, these runs were done predominantly on players 3, as my Barbarian could take it. So each run generally took about 1 minute, and that's not if I'm looting. It's a minute of gameplay per run that you cannot AFK, because you'll get snapped and your merc will get snapped if you're not paying attention. It's important to note on this occasion that my Barbarian even had a Storm Shield on the offhand for its defensive capability, so I could have been using a 6-isted Phaseblade, for example, but I didn't care about the magic find because I was purely looking for runes. So, high-level summation, 1 minute runs that are dangerous, that you have to pay attention to, and which you and your merc can die. For what my outcome was in terms of runes, I would strongly recommend, if you're on single player, just running P7 Lower Kurust. It's going to be simpler, it's going to save you time, you're not going to die, and you're probably going to have much more consistent higher rune drops. That said, if you want to give Trav a crack, be my guest, just don't expect high runes to be raining from the sky. It's still a lot of fun. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I can't thank you guys enough for the support thus far. If you've made it to this point in the video, I really appreciate it. I will continue to do my best to make good quality content for you lads. Until then, take care, keep slaying, and I'll see you kings in the next one.